Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Jay Wise and Nathan Drinkard. I'm your host, Cody Ward. Thanks for spending some of your time with us tonight. What's going on, guys?
Let's talk some sports, baby.
This is
A Drink of Wisdom.
All right, guys, the free agency period also often winds up with some big trades, and the Texans Cardinals trade on Monday was something else. Houston shipping all-pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals for running back David Johnson. The trade also includes Arizona sending Houston their second-round pick, as well as a swap of fourth-round picks. Hopkins has easily been one of, if not one of the best wide receivers in the league over the last few years, and was definitely a fan favorite of Deshaun Watson. Meanwhile, David Johnson has seen his production fall off since his all-pro season in 2016, yet will make almost $13 million this year. Many folks in the media to the fans have panned this trade as a massive misstep for the Texans. So, Drink, did the Cardinals commit highway robbery, or does Big Brain Bill O'Brien know something we don't?
Dude, Bill O'Brien knows something we don't.
Hey, real quick, was that because you didn't get the job earlier with the Texans?
Yeah, that's bullcrap, man. Let me tell you, because when I see that lady from the HR department, hey, we're going to have some problems. She's going to tell me I'm not qualified for the job because I didn't work on the Bill Belichick staff for at least a year. That's bullcrap. I didn't see nowhere on the website that I had to do that. That's neither here nor there. Here's the deal. Bill O'Brien, he got the dirty pictures, all right? I'm going to tell you right now. He got the formula to Area 51. He got the dirty pictures. He got the bats in the cave that started the coronavirus. He got it all. Because it's no way that you could be this bad at your job and get to keep your job. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if I was this bad at my job, I'll tell you what they'd do. They'd say, hey, come on in here, Nate. Yeah, we're going to fire you, but just come on in here so we can talk about it. And then they'll fire me and then say, oh, just playing. We're going to rehire you. No. We want to fire you again just to make a good joke out of it. That's what's going to happen. You dig? This dude is terrible at being a GM. I mean, downright awful. You heard what I said in the opening. He gave away Jadeveon Clowney. Okay. You give away DeAndre Hopkins. Okay. You get 0 first rounds. Now, 0 first round picks. Hey, Tom. So, what did Minnesota? So, Minnesota for Stephon Diggs got a 1, a 3, a 5, and then next year they're going to get a 4. And you got David 2016 Johnson and what was it? A 4th round pick, third.
They're swapping fourth rounds, and I think the Texans have to send a 4th round next year. So,
listen,
yeah,
it's bad.
It still ain't good enough. That's my point. It just ain't good enough. All right. So here's why it's not good enough. And I know Jay will be with me on this. Let me take y'all down memory lane a little bit. I try not to take too long. I know y'all got stuff to do, but just follow with me right quick. Let's go down on the cruise. You dig? Let's do it like Netflix. So here we go. We on the cruise here, better known as the Mute. And we'll call it the mid deck. I don't want to give up too much OPSEC and all that, but we happen to be floating around the Mediterranean Sea. You dig? And the way me and Jay met, we was in the same fantasy football league, but we had a connection. We cared a little more about sports than the other guys. The other guys were just playing, having a good time. It was something to do. Me and Jay actually gave a rip about what was going on. And we used to ask each other. We pick each other's brain. We say, hey, man, who's your top 5 quarterbacks? Who's your top 5 running backs, wide receivers, this, that, and the third? And so there we are. We naming our positions, doing what we do. And I bring that up to say this. If I was to ask Jay this, right, I can pretty much bet a paycheck on this, that DeAndre Hopkins is in his top 5 receivers. Most people I ask, he is. I would even bet a percentage on my paycheck that he's in the top 3 of his receivers right now. Stephon Diggs ain't even cracking the top 15. And the only reason he would crack the top 15 is because of the Minnesota Miracle. If you took the Minnesota Miracle out of it, he probably wouldn't be in your top 15. And you mean to tell me, Bill O'Brien, which I should have your job, you mean to tell me that DeAndre Hopkins, a guy that got you through Tom Savage, Brock Osweiler, and some other cat that I'm forgetting right now, and then got you to Deshaun Watson, and he wasn't even worth a first-round pick? So then I got to thinking to myself. I said, well, it got to be something else to this, right? Like, he can't be this stupid. I mean, he did work for Bill Belichick. So I'm like, God, he's horrible. I mean, I understand why he gave up to Davis Clowney because, you know, he's hurt all the time. So you kind of, if you can get a couple of paper clips, get what you need. Get the office supplies. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fill out my desk. I don't want to make another supply run. So do what you got to do, right? So then I gave that a reprieve, even though Jay jumped on me. Jay said, you got to be kidding me. I couldn't even Google these guys. That's how bad they was. He jumped on me. He gave me the business. Man, I said, I even defended Bill O'Brien. I said, listen, these guys ain't too bad, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let them play. You know, you get a little something, you get a something. And he said, nah, cuz. Nah, man, that ain't it. That ain't it. Listen, I just watched QVC, and they offering more for players than Bill O'Brien just got. Nah, cuz, that ain't it. I said, all right. A little home shopping network. So then we fast forward to now. It got to be a reason, man. It got to be a reason why he gave up DeAndre Hopkins, a top 3 receiver, for this. And then here come the bombshell this morning. Michael Cocaine Irvin came through and said he had a conversation, right? And that conversation, he was elaborating with the conversation with, I want to say, Stephen A. Smith and maybe Greeny on the Get Up show. They're talking and whatnot. And he says, let me take y'all to a meeting between DeAndre Hopkins, I'm going to call him D-Hop for the rest of this segment, D-Hop and Bill O'Brien. And it went a little something like this. Hey, come on in, man. We need to talk, man. Hey, we got to talk. All right, coach. Yeah, I'm coming in. What's up, man? It's like, hey, man, listen. I just want to tell you, man, I haven't had a conversation like this since Aaron Hernandez. What the? Excuse me? I said I haven't had a conversation like this since Aaron Hernandez. Is this guy? Oh, you said. What they got to do with me? Listen, I don't know where you coming with. But let me tell you something about old D-Hop over here. I have never been in trouble on the field. I've never been in trouble off the field. I've never caused any controversy. Oh, yeah, speaking of controversy, I want to talk to you about your baby mamas in the facility. Listen, we ain't talking about my baby mamas. Like, I don't know what you on today. I don't know what you been who spiked coffee. We ain't doing that. Like, knock it off. We ain't doing that. Like, I don't know what your problem is. Well, my problem is you want more money. So, do you think about me when you got these sorry quarterbacks throwing me the ball? Huh? Do you think about me then? So, yeah, I want a bigger contract. I deserve to have a nice contract. I mean, I can't get Julio money, but I want something, man. Come on, like, give me a better contract, or I want out. Oh, so that's how it is, huh? Listen, I ain't trying to cause a controversy. I just want more money. Well, you got the influence in the locker room. We ain't talking about that either. You know what? I'm out of here. You already disrespect me with the Aaron Hernandez like I'm out here smoking fools, and then I hang myself because I can't handle it. You ain't going to be doing me like this. I ain't taking this disrespect. Boom. He rolls. Bill O'Brien calls the owner. Hey, he ain't playing ball. The owner, which is the wife of the late Steve McNair, Bob McNair, late Bob McNair. And then he calls the son, which I don't even know the son name. I'm going to call him Trust Fund on there. And then he calls them, hey, he ain't playing ball right now. This is bull crap. I want to get him out of here. All right, hey, what's the best you think you can do for him? Well, I talked to Arizona. Arizona said they're willing to give him the contract. So they'll take him, sign him, and then give him the max contract he wants. So that can work. And also, they got a phenomenal running back because we need a running back, right? So, Carlos Hyde said he don't want nothing to do with us no more. All right. Duke Johnson said maybe, maybe not. He's still on the fence. He don't know. He got to go jet skiing. We'll see about that. So let me talk to Arizona. Oh, David Johnson. Yeah, I remember David Johnson. Oh, he was a fantasy stud. I had him on my team. Yeah, him. Yeah, he good stuff. Yeah, when was that? 2018? When was that? Last year? No, it was 2006. 2006. What? I didn't hear you. 2006. Oh
my God.
That's gonna be. What else can we get? They'll throw in the second, man. Throw in the second, and then we'll swap fourths. We'll get the high fourth. They take the lower one. I'm not real familiar with my employees, but isn't that guy good? Isn't D Hop good? Yeah, I mean he's good, but you can replace him. I mean he's replaceable. No big deal. All right, make the deal. And now we are here. This is where we at. This is the dumbest crap I ever seen. Arizona just got. Let me tell you. You know how they say follow the rainbow? You see a pot of gold at the end of it. The leprechaun was Kyler Murray, not just by the size, but he was the leprechaun, and then the pot of gold was D-Hop, and now it's like, boom, I'm in here, baby, let's go. And what? Deshaun Watson got to be in his corner crying. I mean, in his car crying somewhere. That was his grandmama chain. Like, what are we talking about? Like, he has to. I believe this. If he can get away with fighting Bill O'Brien, he probably would. He probably say, meet me outside. You know what I'm saying? We're going to strap it out right quick. I'm going to release some frustration, and then we'll be good after that. Because this is some complete bull, if I ever seen it. This is ridiculous. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And listen, after I heard that Aaron Hernandez crap this morning, this dude deserves to be fired. That's why I put in my application. He got to be getting fired sometime soon, unless he got the picture. Because there's no way you can pull what he just pulled and go off his business. Now, I'm not saying fire him as a coach. I don't mind him as a coach. He has gotten to the playoffs like every year he's been there. So if you want to keep him as a coach, whatever. But as a GM, we got to knock this off. I mean, enough is enough. Get him out of here as a GM. And so to answer your question, man, I wouldn't say the Cardinals highway robbed them because the Cardinals, all they really did was say, hey, we'll pay him the contract that he wants. And you need a running back. We'll give you David Johnson. Hey, what about Drake? I said David Johnson. But Kenyon Drake, I said David Johnson. That's all that happened. Like, at the end of the day, and they went for it. They agreed. So, Arizona saying, listen, we supposed to be the ones with the rookie coach. Instead, y'all over here getting, all right, cool, whatever. We'll take it. And that's what happened, man. So, nope, to answer your question, I don't think it was highway robbery. I just think Bill O'Brien is a
Yeah, but look, Bill O'Brien, he does not know something that we don't. He doesn't. And look, DeAndre Hopkins, and you mentioned, top 5 lists. I'm not going to go down a list right now, but yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is at minimum a top 3 receiver in this league. And all you got to do is pull up the all-pro teams for the last 3 years because he's first team the last 3 years. You got Michael Thomas with him the last 2 years, and then I forget who made it in 2017. But the point is, when we talk about the best wide receivers in this league, we think of guys like Julio Jones. We think of, dare I say, Antonio Brown when he ain't clowning around. We think about Odell Beckham Jr. when he's not doing his clown business. And we also think of a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. These are guys we're thinking about, and also Michael Thomas these days. And to make the all-pro team the past 3 years, I mean, that's something that just can't be understated because he's easy. He's an easy guy to forget about because the wide receiver position is very much a diva position when we got all these other wide receivers acting the fool, and we have never, ever, ever heard anything negative about DeAndre Hopkins. He hasn't been in headlines for the wrong reasons. We don't see him cutting up on the sideline. And believe me, you listed off some of them quarterbacks that he had to deal with before they got themselves a Deshaun Watson. You're talking about Tom Savage, Brock Osweiler, T.J. Yates.
Yeah, there we go. I knew it was one other bomb I was missing.
Hey, and there's probably more that we're missing, considering the merry-go-round they had going down there. And I've always defended Bill Bryant in this regard. Before he got Deshaun Watson, he had these boys competitive. I mean, they won a playoff game with Brock Osweiler. We can't forget that. But when we talk about being a general manager, in addition to being a coach, I didn't like this thing from the start when he was just he didn't have the official title all last season, but he was making these trades. The Jadeveon Clowney trade comes to mind. Of course, he brought in Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills. I mean, you can argue those moves one way or the other, but I mean, this is outrageous. I mean, we can't look at it any other way. The only way this trade winds up, and I'm gonna tell you this: the Texans can't win this trade. The only way they can they can break even is David Johnson has to be the 2016 David Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't put money on that happening based off what we've seen the past 3 years. We got 5 seasons with David Johnson. 2016 was his best season. He was an all-pro, had over 2,000 all-purpose yards, I believe. But 2017, he was lost to injury. 2018, he just wasn't that good, and the Cardinals weren't that good, and that was probably part of it. But last season, you bring in Cliff Kingsbury, and for whatever reason, I mean, the guy's role was diminished, and you can see where they're going. They're moving forward with Kenyon Drake. They put the transition tag on him, so that's clear. They're telling you who they value over there. And that doesn't mean David Johnson can't play. This is not to knock David Johnson. But when I'm looking at DeAndre Hopkins and David Johnson over the past 3 years, it's no contest. And then, on top of it all, you talk about the contract situation. Now, I get it. If you want to throw some pushback on DeAndre Hopkins wanting a new contract, I get it. But there's certain things you just got to handle this better. You got to say, hey, man, I understand where you're coming from. But you got 3 years left on your contract. You're getting about $13 million a year. Let's play this year out, and then let's just make a verbal agreement right here and now that play this season, and after this year, you have 2 years left, and then we hook you up then. I mean, you have to handle this better instead of just, I don't even know what we're thinking. You bringing up Aaron Hernandez. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. I really don't. That's just completely out of bounds, and that's just completely idiotic. That you know what that sound? That sound like you either got a drinking problem, or you working too much because you're the head coach and a GM, and you clearly are incapable of doing both of this thing. This is Bill O'Brien we're talking about. It ain't Bill Belichick. Not everybody can do what Bill Belichick do. That's just tell me something. We've never seen a guy from the Bill Belichick tree win a Super Bowl. We haven't. And yet every other team in the world trying to recreate the Patriot way. We don't have it. So, and look, DeAndre Hopkins, again, top 3 receiver, one of the best in the game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm looking at the receivers behind him in Houston. Will Fuller, Kenny Stills, Kiki QT, or whatever, Q-tip, or whatever he got going on. But, I mean, they got a collection of guys that could be good, but you know about Will Fuller. I mean, he's a hot number 2, but it's all predicated on health. We don't know week to week if he's going to see the field. And Kenny Stills, don't even get me started with Kenny Stills. I got no time for this guy. He's doing too much of the wrong things, not catching enough passes. QT is a nice player. But all in all, Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans, they do not have a number 1 receiver right now. And, I mean, I don't know about David Johnson. If he comes in healthy and they can utilize him well, I mean, maybe it'll turn out good. But this is most certainly a major L right now. And, oh, by the way, about Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is a diva receiver. You remember the playoff game against the Saints. The Saints, the Vikings were winning practically the whole game. And the whole time on the sideline, he didn't look happy to be there at all. Made a winning play down the stretch, I believe. Still didn't look happy. And yet the Minnesota Vikings still got all that compensation for him. And you're right, Stephon Diggs the past couple of years, he wasn't even the best receiver on his own team.
Yeah, this is another one that just blows my mind, man. I mean, I gotta say, the only thing that keeps me happy as a Jags fan is watching the rest of these teams in the division messing up too. My God. What a week. Hey, DeAndre Hopkins is gone. Tannehill's eating all the cap room, whatever. But the two things I look at with this, man, the number one, how dare you do this to Deshaun Watson? How dare you? Like, this is your franchise dude. You finally found him. He's tough as nails. The man can go out there with one eye and win you playoff games. He does everything you want. And you take his one good weapon and you trade him for a box of crackers. Like, what on earth? Like, how is that? Like, these guys didn't just have, like, it's not like DeAndre Hopkins was just a nice player and Deshaun Watson. Like, they had a nice chemistry. I mean, I watch these guys at least twice a year, if not more. They had a chemistry. These guys had that little, like, hey, give you the look. Oh, I a little bit of my eye. Okay, you're running this, but you're gonna do this, and the ball's gonna be there. They had that kind of chemistry. That's hard to get in the NFL and keep, and they had it. And you're just gonna just willy-nilly it because we wanted some money and y'all didn't have a great chat. Get out of here. And the other thing is, like, you look at the trade values. Not only does Hopkins carry much more value than this. I mean, you should have started a first-round pick. The Cleveland Browns, they traded for Odell Beckham. They gave up pick 17, 95, and a decent young player in Jabril Peppers. You got a nice little thing to work with there. A second-round pick, and then you're swapping forwards. And, by the way, you're sending another fourth to the Arizona Cardinals next year. So it's actually even worse than what I had said in the intro. And if the Cardinals would have just picked up the phone one day, this past offseason when none of this is going on, and say, hey, David Johnson, what you got for him? They would be like, tape a $20 bill to his head and send us a 5th-round pick, and we'll take him off your hands. How does that sound? I mean, this contract he signed, he does not even come in close to living up to it, and this is the last year of all the big money. You're paying this guy the 4th highest paid salary in the NFL for what? To be a nice little switchback out of the backfield that catches some passes. If you're lucky, if he kind of comes back
among running backs, right?
Right. Right. Of a running back, he's the 4th highest paid running back when you factor in his little contract incentives and whatnot. And you had that with Duke Johnson. You didn't need to go get David Johnson to do that. I mean, you already had that. You had a nice little dude to do that for you. You need a guy who goes in the tackles. Carlos Hyde told you to pound sand. That's fine. I just don't like, even if David Johnson comes back and he is almost as good as he was, this still doesn't look good. And then what's more likely to happen is Johnson's just a tread water guy, and Fitzgerald and Hopkins are going to go and they're going to ball out, because we saw the Cardinals, man. They were a decent little offense. They got to the end of the year. Remember, we watched the game late season. We were like, hey, these guys, they're kind of coming around. And you saw how fast that offense changed when Kenyon Drake took over for David Johnson. That should tell you a lot by itself. So this is a trade the Madden AI would reject. So how this guy got away with this? I'm happy. I'm happy he's gone. We don't have Jalen Ramsey to put on him anymore. And hey, he couldn't even hardly cover him anyway. That's how good DeAndre Hopkins is. But holy crap, what a dumpster fire, man. I don't know. They better figure something out in the draft or something.
So let me throw out a little nugget for everybody that's listening and watching. Right, recent wide receivers trades. Now, bear with me. You mentioned Odell Beckham. They got a 1st, 3rd, and a 5th, right? So, keyword, they got a 1st. Brandon Cooks, first trade that sent him to the Patriots. Whatever team he played for. They got Rams. The Rams are the 2nd team. Either
the Saints.
Okay, boom. Saints trade him to the Patriots. They get a 1st. Brandon Cooks get traded again from the Patriots to the Rams. They get a 1st. All right. Stephon Diggs get traded from Minnesota to Buffalo. They get a 1st. Amari Cooper gets traded from Oakland to Dallas. They get a 1st. And you telling me DeAndre Hopkins, you don't get a 1st for DeAndre Hopkins?
He's better than all those dudes.
I just told you one dude got traded twice and they got a 1st both times. And he a walking concussion. Man.
I don't even know how you do that. I don't even know how you're a walking concussion. We've seen Brandon Cooks laying down on the field way too much. He wasn't walking with those concussions at the time. But hey, look, another thing this puts Bill O'Brien. We've talked about Bill O'Brien as a GM. It doesn't appear that this will end well. Hello, Houston. Maybe your ownership, as opposed to some ownership being too involved, you need to be more involved, it would appear. But as a coach, this is going to put more pressure on Bill O'Brien as a play caller, because Bill O'Brien's play calling it comes under criticism from time to time because it isn't innovative. It's too predictable from time to time. And now you don't have, your easy button outside of numbers that Deshaun Watson can just look over to him. Hey, yep, we got it. You don't have that anymore. So now it's going to have to be more predicated on scheme. You don't have one receiver who can draw the coverage to his side consistently. It's going to put more pressure on Bill O'Brien as a coach now as well.
Yeah, I'll leave y'all with this. The Ravens got a second for Hayden Hurst. You're going to tell me Hayden Hurst is as valuable as DeAndre Hopkins?